seconds.
Okay. Guys, I have learned of a recent development. There's a story that's, I guess, breaking or has been breaking for the last...
My balls?
breaking for at least like the last 10 to 11 hours. And it's a terrible but beautiful story. There is currently a Vancouver radio station called Kiss FM.
Mm-hmm.
They recently laid off 2 of their morning DJs, who I guess were pretty beloved. Since then, this radio station has been playing Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name.
I heard about this.
For the last 10 plus hours.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not all they're doing. Sometimes they'll take requests. Somebody will come in and they'll request whatever. By the way, this is a soft rock station, generally. Somebody will come in, make a request, and the DJs will go, no, we're going to play Killing in the Name. And then they'll just play it again, and they'll play that on loop a few more times, and then they'll take another request.
God.
Interestingly, some people have called in and requested Killing in the Name, to which they say, we'll have to check. Maybe we can play that later in the set, but let's hear another song right now. And you guessed it, it's Killing in the Name. It is beautiful. I don't.
What song would we play if one of us got fired here?
That's a great question. It's still happening right now. You can go to this Kiss FM in Vancouver. There's a ton of news articles that are coming out about it. I read one on Rolling Stone. There's one in The Guardian. Nobody has said whether it's an actual protest or not. The timing just is working out to make that people are making that connection that it might be because of the morning DJs. But
yeah.
Great. No notes. 0 notes. Keep going.
That's pretty good.
Don't do what they told you.
God. Well, I got some news for you. Not only are we fans of Damning the Man here at the Casual Hour, but we're also a podcast that likes to talk about ostensibly video games, but
mostly about burning crosses
and bridges. Yeah. Mostly with each other. I'm Bobby. I'm the host of this show. Chase Kennedy is the gamer on the go. Chase, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
And Johnny is the friendly face that helps you bag your groceries. He's also here.
And counted for.
We are doing, if you can believe this, a July preview episode of all the games.
Bobby, it's still June. This comes... It
depends.
The archive comes out Friday, so...
Yeah.
Actually, at that time, it will be July, so...
It'll be officially July.
To you.
Who
knows who to believe anymore?
Things have been tough, so we figured we would give you all a glimpse into what little bit of the future looks promising, and that's video games. And we wanted to do it early to give you a little midweek pick me up.
Do video games look promising this upcoming month?
For you, they do. You've not stopped talking about fucking Digimon for 5 goddamn months now.
That's one
it's
game.
It's been longer than 5 months.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
that comes very late in the month. That's basically August.
You don't get to say anything bad about July when you've talked about Digimon in the last 90 days, probably 87 times.
Could be. That's probably conservative. I watched 2 episodes of Digimon Tamers tonight.
We are going to talk about those games coming out. We're going to tell you about the games that we picked for June and did they hold up. We're going to tell you about some of the games we've been playing outside of those. And then on the back half, Chase will wrap it up with his wonderfully put together, probably what he does best besides putting on with Johnny and I. His monthly preview episodes are really good. So I'm really excited for these. It's progression, right? And we could all use a little progression. So onward. But
love it when time moves forward.
Yes. Love it when time moves forward. So with that, these typically are a lot to talk through. Why don't we get into what we've been playing while we're waiting to talk about what we're going to play? Chase, what you been playing?
Bobby, a couple months ago, I think you got into the Gundam Evolution PC beta test. All right, the network test.
I was in as the authoritative voice on all things Gundam.
As the Casual Hours #1 Gundam fan, Bobby Pease went in and
they said, "Get that man in here."
Yeah, get in the robot, Bobby.
We want to know what he's doing.
That's a different anime, but close enough.
Oh.
And you had a pretty decent time at it, right? We did a quick look at that. That's on the site.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it.
I mean, it's on YouTube.
It was one of those things where
Our site, youtube.com.
Yes, youtube.com. We own it. As somebody who did not know much about the Gundams outside of like, oh, this one looks cool, I did not have any idea what to expect.
You know about Shining Finger.
I do know about Shining Finger. I do know about that one.
Not in this game, but you are aware of it.
I wasn't super into Overwatch, but I think that they got a pretty solid idea here. And
they made them an Overwatch.
Yeah.
This last weekend was the console network test.
Oh.
Which I applied for and got in. And so I have now also played the Gundam Evolution.
Outside of watching it, did you like the way that it maybe played? No? Not for you?
Kinda. I think it's very dependent. It's very much like an Overwatch. Not in only because it is an Overwatch. They just made themselves an Overwatch. But it's also like Overwatch in that some characters feel like absolute dog shit for me to play. And then other characters I went, yeah, okay, I kind of know this one. I can do this. For example, when I played the sniper class, I went, I can't do this. This is not this. I can't play.
You don't really snipe
Widowmaker.
in other games too much, though, right? You're not much of a sniper.
I think Gears of War is really the only one I was a pretty confident sniper in. Most of the other games, that's not my thing. I like long range stuff, but I don't like sniper rifles generally.
For sure.
Halo is okay at sniping.
I don't think of snipers when I think about Gundam, either.
I mean,
I know that there are, but I'm thinking more like
that are sniper. Yeah,
very bombastic, very like kind of gridlocked, interlocked, melee at times, big blast from the chest, big missile barrage.
I mean, you want to see the robots clash, and to do that, they got to be close by.
I don't think of a robot being hidden, especially one that's skyscraper size.
There actually aren't a lot of Gundams that are snipers. I can only really think of one off the top of my head. There are lots of grunt units that are snipers, like the Gym Sniper 2 is a sniper. And that's the one that's in this game is the Gym Sniper 2. It's strong. I get killed by it a lot because it's like a sniper rifle. It has one-hit headshots, which is also a little weird because the head is not where the pilot is in the mobile suit.
Dogs and cat living together, man.
Off the head.
That's a little weird.
But also, like, hitting somebody dead center in the chest is kind of the whole point of shooting things. So that might be a little too easy to snipe somebody in that. Anyway, I had a really good time, surprisingly so, with the gun tank, which I don't particularly like the gun tank from a lore Gundam watching anime perspective. I think it's pretty silly.
His R2-D2 looking ass.
Kinda, yeah. But I really like it in the game. It's got kind of a diva style ultimate where it has a core fighter that sneaks out there and is a remote bomb, which is quite cool and fun. It's got really nice mid to long range options, and you can also just spray. You can just keep dumping, and that feels real good.
I love dumping, man.
I also love dumping.
Who doesn't love a good dump?
It's a beautiful thing, really. It's very refreshing. So I liked playing as that unit, and I really didn't like playing most of the other units, to be honest. I mean, and in that way, it's an Overwatch. They made one of those. I was a Lucio main when I played Overwatch.
Back when we all played it,
more of a support healer character. Yeah. Back when we played it, like back when they only had 2 DLC characters. The good old days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine. I think the people who like these kinds of games are going to like this one. I think it's got a lot for Gundam fans of just look at these cool robots. They made the cool robots. There are robots in there that I did not expect to be in there. I mean, I expected them because I watched the quick look. I watched you play, but it's still shocking to me that anybody other than me remembers Turn A Gundam.
Did they?
Which is one of the best Gundams. But
did they say yet if that's going to be free to play?
I don't think
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
I'll see if I can find out.
I bet it doesn't start free to play.
I think
go free to play.
Here's what I bet happens. I bet it's a free to play game. They'll probably offer like a $19.99 or a $29.99 version that has like the first battle pass, like premium battle pass, probably like some exclusive in-game shit. Like
it
goodies,
is free to
right?
play.
It is free to play. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet you they do something like that though. Like there's already something like that for Overwatch 2, I believe.
Probably. And for the low price of free, absolutely. People should give it a shot when it does come out. I can't remember when it comes out. It's sometime this year.
It is this year. Okay.
But yeah, there's no set release date.
Does it say anything about crossplay, Johnny? That was my next question. I would imagine it probably would, unless there's just some...
will not support cross-platform play.
Well, what about cross-save progression? Would it bring my character over?
I don't know. I've already closed out of the article.
I'm going to guess it probably doesn't. Anyway, I think it's solid. I think it plays the way you think it'll play. I still have... My biggest problem is still the one I had the last time we talked about this, in that all of the maps are stupid.
Yep. It's not... You don't feel like you're piloting a Gundam because everything is to the same scale.
Everything is built to a Gundam scale. That it's just... It all feels like big, weird hangars and things that you're walking through. There's no... I haven't even seen a tree. Like, show me a tree just to go like, I'm in a big fucking robot that's bigger than all these goddamn trees. Like, give me some sense of scale. And it has none of that. Everything just feels like an Overwatch character. And because your units play like Overwatch characters, it feels like a first-person shooter. It doesn't feel like you're in a mech. It doesn't feel like I'm not here to say Steel Battalion is some amazing game, but the idea that you have this giant controller in front of you with all of these buttons and sticks and things like that, like there is a certain... I have to struggle to make this robot do what I want.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's the cool part about the robots.
You know, like once you get into your Titan, you know, you are towering above the other enemy combatants that aren't in their Titans, and you feel like I'm piloting this, you know, death machine.
It's one of the reasons I like my mech stuff to be in a turn-based strategy style. Because it does give you that abstraction. It's a different abstraction from what piloting a giant robot would feel like in real life, but it is an abstraction of what my inputs are to what the output of the robot doing stuff is. And I think that feels good. Also, I like it because it's turn-based and I can take my time and I can think about things. But there is something that is just like, I'm just playing Overwatch with a Gundam skin on it. Because that's what they made. That's 100% what they made. It just feels a little weird because that's not how it should feel in a way. Like there's another game out there. It's called Gundam Battle Operation 2. You can go play that now. I don't think it plays very fun. But it does play abstractly. And I think it nails the feel of being in these big giant machines way better than this game does.
Yeah, that's that big. Yeah.
Even if I also don't like that game because I think it plays like shit. I understand. I'm a weird person to please. Anyway, I think it's going to be fine. People are going to enjoy it, and it's cool that they got some Gundam stuff in there. And I really like the ability to customize some of these guys. The skins they have in there, I think, are kind of boring, but I think they could come up with some pretty cool stuff, knowing lore stuff for Gundam that you could do in there. Like they have a suit called the Marasai in there. and it's green, so you know it's from Gundam Unicorn. It's the sleeves version of that. I mean, I know that. You guys don't know that. But they could make a red Marasai. Bob or Johnny, you've seen the red Marasai because it's in Gundam. It's in Zeta Gundam. It's one of the ones Jared pilots. Anyway, I could see like, hey, we have a skin that makes the Marasai red. You have the Zeta version of the Marasai. Isn't that cool? Or you could have the White Dingo version of the Gym Sniper 2. White Dingo's a special unit that has white and blue paint jobs on their units compared to the light blue that normally has. Anyway, you could do some cool things with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stuff they put in there. But right now, they just kind of made an Overwatch, and that is the best and worst thing about it.
So
Also,
you'll be playing it?
Yeah. No, probably not.
Okay.
I mean, it's free to play. I'll probably end up downloading it, and I don't know, maybe I'll give it a shot every once in a while. But for the most part, I think I can get my Gundam fix playing other games. I'm still pretty interested in that SD Gundam Battle Alliance that's also supposed to come out sometime this year. I think that's closer to what I'm looking for in terms of something silly and fun that also has my silly robots in it.
Very cool.
Speaking of some silly fun, I played all of ElecHead.
Dang. Okay.
I mean, it's a short game. It was one session, but that's another game we've quick looked. Bobby played that one, and we got stuck in it because that game was a little too smart for us at some points during that quick look.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think having the experience of that quick look really helped when I downloaded this on my Switch because it came to Switch, and I had a really good time with it.
It's a cool game.
It's a nice looking, smart puzzle game. It's got I think the closest thing to it is VVVVVV. Mm-hmm. That's probably the closest one I could point to, and I like these kinds of puzzle games. We've talked about how Baba Is You will break your brain. We've talked about how Patrick's Parabox breaks your brain. Johnny, you showed me another puzzle game here recently. What was the cactus one?
Room to Grow.
Room to Grow.
That
one.
To Grow.
Watching just the short trailer on that one, I went, "Oh, I'm not smart enough to play this game. This would ruin me. I don't want this." But ElecHead, I think has just enough smart things in it while still being in a platformer style. It's less about it's about the puzzles, but it's also about the movement and the execution. Whereas something like Patrick's Parabox or Baba Is You, because they are top down, very very slow plotting things that are only about solving this ridiculously difficult puzzle occasionally. ElecHead has some kind of more casual feel to it, even when the puzzles are tricky. And that's an area that I kind of want to be in more out of this style of game. I had a great time with it. It looks great. It sounds great.
I imagine it plays really well on the Switch.
It plays absolutely well on the Switch.
Yeah.
The only problem I ran into is that when you get to the end-ish part of that game, I didn't understand what it was telling me. It's a wordless game outside of ElecHead that it says at the beginning. The start menu is all icon based, and you can mostly understand what these icons are. It uses some portals that have numbers on them, so you know where the portals are going to take you. They're like big level checkpoints, but there's no real language in that other than those numbers. And you get to the end, and it shows you these 3 video screens, and you kind of get an idea of what they are asking you to do. Okay, I'm supposed to get back to the beginning of the game, and there's something I can do there to finish it, to get like the real ending of it. And I started to do what they asked and was intuiting it, and I got to a place where it's like, what am I doing wrong? And it got to the point of like, okay, this whole game took me a handful of hours to play, like 3-4 hours to get through all of this. And now I've been sitting at this one thing for 20-30 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck am I supposed
we
to do.
ran into this similar thing in the quick look where the context or the contextual awareness of like what we should do was, at the time I was playing with a controller, but everything on screen was keyboard, and so like we were not like, it was dumb. Anyway, I it's hard.
Yeah, I think the thing we screwed up on is they told you a way to like self-destruct. Yes. Because that was something that was in the puzzle where you were supposed to self-destruct, so this was a different problem than that. But it got to the point of like, okay, you know what? This game has been out for a long time, a longish time on PC. There are walkthroughs. What am I supposed to do to get through this last thing? I've basically beaten the game. What am I missing here? And I watched some of these walkthroughs, and they're different. They're different than my game. I think something switched when they made a console version, or maybe they made an update somewhere along the line, and nobody's updated their walkthrough videos on YouTube to reflect the change. Because I don't see them going through the rooms that I'm trying to go through, even though they get to the end part that I'm supposed to get to, and I cannot follow their path. So I don't know. I kind of just somewhat gave up. There is an option, so I chose the option that I thought was. I had a 50-50 shot, thinking, does this mean restart the game, or does this mean delete all my progress and restart the game? And it was delete all your progress, which I was hoping it wasn't, but I figured it was. It had a little trash can icon. I figured that was what was going to happen. But I got back to the beginning because I'm starting the game, and I could get to the part where they were teasing what the ending was. The problem is you have to go through enough of the game to get an ability that will let you get past that point to get to the actual ending. And I didn't have that because all my data was gone.
Damn it.
Anyway, I've seen both endings on YouTube. It's fine. It's cute. I know that doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement there at the end, but those 4 hours before were pretty fucking pure bliss of feeling real stupid, then feeling real smart, and just having a great time with that game. And even if you just stopped at that kind of false ending that it gives you, I think you get more than your money's worth out of it. It's a fantastic thing. It's something that I'm sure I'll be talking about more later. But I love ElecHead. I think people should play it.
That's awesome, man. I really enjoy it.
And I think somebody should tell me how to fucking beat it. That's also what I think.
I've told myself that I will finish that on my Steam Deck, and I have it downloaded over there, and I will probably put some time into it, especially knowing that it's a shorter experience.
It's like a breezy afternoon that you can get through.
It's a really cool game, Johnny. You should download that game. It's in the library.
I own it.
Okay, that's cool.
So that's what I've been playing.
Awesome. I'm going to talk about 3 games. I'm not going to talk about these 2 that I'm about to mention. I'm just going to let you know that I have beaten 2 Diablo games this week, and I will continue to check both of those out. I am Diablo. I am going to tell you it's about a game called Good Company. Came out June 21st. It's by Chasing Carrots. And I rather like this game. And if you see any picture of this game, you will know immediately why.
Good Company.
I'll wait for it. I will wait for it.
Enter. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Good Company hit 1.0, and this is an in-depth management sim game with a few things that make it stand out, in my opinion, compared to other games like this. So you are taking over as a entrepreneur / factory / workshop, whatever you want to call it, where you are building tech products. And one of the cool things about this game is not only are you trying to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of that, there's 2 pieces to it that I rather like, which they have an entire element of like market research built into it, where you are analyzing market trends. You are going in and you are setting the price for the products that you're selling, and you're looking at like, do you want to sell at a loss and gain more favor with your audience and build your base out? And so there's a really cool management aspect to that. The other part that's really cool is there's an entire blueprint section where you are able to build out your product. So like when you start off, you're building calculators, and then you branch over into Walkmen, and you get to design different Walkmen. And the blueprint is like a snap to grid, so thing like Tetris pieces, but each one of those might be a battery pack or a circuit board or an LCD screen. And there's component cost, of course, that you're thinking about when you're doing this. But then the other piece of it is you're going to go back and you're going to design your workflow on, okay, I need to source these parts in. I need to manufacture, like, this is going to be an assembly line that is making the case. This is going to be the assembly line that's making the logic board. This is going to be the people making the speaker. And then that all gets assembled and moves over to another table. So like you've got your component makers, you've got your assembly line area, and then you've got the whole logistical element. You can assign somebody to do the logistics. It's got a
That's really cool.
It is really fucking cool.
Like, you now get to be the asshole who takes out the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
It wasn't even on there.
Pennies.
It wasn't even on it to begin with. It is really neat.
You go, we don't need function buttons. What if there was just some dumbass touch bar on the top of this laptop?
Some other things that are pretty cool, like when you're laying things out.
One more thing.
Yeah, one more thing. They do so there's a day cycle, not like day and night, but like a weekly cycle of like when shipments and stuff will be coming in, and you have this pallet delivery area where you set conditional rules on it, like, hey, I am pumping out at a pace, a lot of, like, I'm making electronic cases, but parts of my workflow can't keep up with that area of my production. So what I can do is on that outbound pallet, I can go in and say, I want you to sell 25% of what we're making, and then the rest of them will go to it. So I don't get stuck in bottleneck, like I'm actually making money on just like raw material. It's really fucking clever. I like it a whole lot. The interface is really, really nice. It's got a little wholesome look to it. I think it would be a ton of fun to play with another person, not like in a sadistic, like overcooked way, but just because I think having another set of hands in there to like help with logistics would be kind of fun. But
you need a WAS.
I need a WAS, man.
For your jobs.
I think the game's $20 if I'm not mistaken. It's 25%
20% off right now.
Yeah, and they've made another game that I have not played, but I thought looked interesting, called The Tenants. It might have been an Epic Game Store exclusive for a while, or it might have been a free game with Epic. But they've done similar types of games in the past, I think. So that's Chasing Carrots. That game's good company. It's one that I hope that we can quick look at some point in time and just show the madness there. I will call out, it's pretty focused. So at least at the beginning, you've got a roadmap that you're going through. So like each level introduces new things, and it's like a 3-star, like, hey, you did all the things here. And then there's a free play mode that's in there, but they do a really good job of like easing you into taking on ownership of your business, because it's dense for sure, but like it starts to come together nicely.
It sounds like the next step up from something like a game dev story. Like if you played one of those Kairosoft games and it's like, yeah, this is a management game, but it's super simple and super silly. This one is, well, what if we took it a little bit more seriously?
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really smart call, because it's not quite tongue in cheek. And there's even a little bit of a narrative to like, you're trying to be the next thing. Like your dad used to do this, and he's come in and like, he'll give you advice on like product design. You've got competitors stopping by that are like dickheads and like, hey, you're just a dumb kid, quit doing this. Like there's some cool stuff in it. And I think I don't know like what's maybe changed in it since it's like early access roadmap, but I am digging it, and I'll probably continue to put a little bit of time into that. All right, Chase, this one's for you, baby.
I ran out of time. I was trying to get the name of Slugworth. That's what I was thinking. Like, you have like your Arthur Slugworth coming through, going like, I need to figure out how to make everlasting gobstoppers.
There's a guy that's very slimy that comes through, and he's a bit of a dick for sure. The next game's a mouthful, but it's worth it. I've been checking out, and I'll say it right now, absolutely adoring my time with Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga. And this is a game that, like, if I was going to pitch it really quick, and I think you said this as well, Chase, it's kind of like Advanced War meets Fire Emblem. It's pixel art.
Which some people would go, well, Bobby, those are just the same game. They're made by the same studio. They look the same. What the hell do you mean when you say Advanced Wars meets Fire Emblem?
So,
but there is a reason. Like it is taking elements of both, even though they are kind of similar games.
Yeah. So you are moving squads that you have, and a lot of what you're doing is squad based. So there's 49 or 50 different classes that you can have in this game.
A lot of classes.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And like it'll go from, like, let's just say, like, kind of an entry point bowman into an archer, and that archer can become a bow warrior. It can be like a horseback.
In Fire Emblem, they call it a sniper.
Yeah, it can become a samurai, which I think looks really fucking rad. Where what's the long stick with the blade on the end of it? It's not quite that. It starts with a P.
Glaive?
No, I can't remember the name of it.
Phalanx?
Maybe.
Oh, that's like a shield thing.
They basically, the samurai can specialize in 2 weapons, which is awesome. So you can do upfront combat, or you can do some archer stuff. There's dragons, so you can have a dragon just in your party, and you can become a dragon rider at some point in time, which is really fucking cool.
You mean a pole arm?
Yes, a pole arm. Thank you. But then the piece that's really interesting about this is, like, there's a trait amongst most people in this game that is like a leadership quality. And if you have somebody who has that quality, they can now control a unit. And depending on the level, you can disperse multiple units at a time. And in that unit, you can have, I think the biggest one I have has like 5 or 6 people within a unit. And the crazy thing about that is you can start to tie into some of the elements that you would love from like a Fire Emblem game, where you have bonds that happen with people, and then you can get some really cool synergies within these small groups. I've got this paladin. She's fucking awesome. And I've got her loaded up with like 2 really great mystic healers. And so she is just ripping and tearing her way through things, and just immediately, like, on every play, getting healed up by them. And she just absolutely crushes life. It's fucking awesome.
And that does seem like the differentiating factor here is that if you're playing a traditional Fire Emblem game, you have a unit that is an archer, or you have a unit that is a swordsman, and they have different advantages, disadvantages. And if you're the person with the bow, you can't attack somebody directly in front of you, or if somebody attacks you as the archer, you can't counterattack them. Whereas if somebody attacks you with a bow and you're the sword guy, you can't counter that because they're too far away. But in this game, you can build a unit that is mixed like that has some archers and has some sword people, and now you can do those 2 things. You can't do it as well as a unit if you had 6 archers in a single unit, but the idea that you can have these kinds of mixed units that are able to do lots of different things, it builds into a much deeper strategy element. And I think that sounds really cool. It also sounds like a lot of fucking micromanagement, which on one hand sounds great to me, and on the other hand just makes it sound like battles are going to take forever. So I guess that's my big question is, Bobby, do you feel like you're spending more time building your squads and units and equipping them correctly and doing all this micromanagement shit? Do you feel like you're spending more time doing that than you are playing the actual game?
So far, no. There's a few things I'll call out here that I think are pretty interesting there. It does chapters, so you're going to do chapter 1. There's going to be some story beats. There's going to be a battle. There's going to be kind of a retro at the end of that, where you are getting your squad ready for the next bit. And within that, you're going to have your relationship conversations you can go through, and that's going to get you some current scene points that go into it. Because not only do you have all these things, you have an overall, just for like you, a tech tree. that has multiple areas on it, and you are unlocking that. So by default, only the bottom row is ready to go. Once you've unlocked so many, the next row gets there, and it might cost 1 star to upgrade something on that bottom row. The next row is 2 stars, and it's things like your cavalry unit gets an ambush attack if it moves 7 tiles before attacking. And this is one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm going to unlock this. It's going to increase the damage from that, but it's also going to lessen it to 6 tiles. It's like you can unlock a skill like that would play into like your overall strategy. Outside of that, you are also on the battlefield. You're seizing and taking over things. And so like when you start the mission, it's going to be like, hey, there's a hidden dragon egg on this map. If you find it, you're going to get a dragon. Also, there's a gem, like a mineral mine or like a standard mine. There's a couple towns that you can seize and take over, and you get this currency or these items that you use to upgrade your units. So maybe I wanted to upgrade to that samurai that I mentioned. Well, I'd have to get my XP up, which is pretty fucking easy, but then I'd have to have the resources to do that. And when you go into your overview is all your squad. So it's like 6 tiles. Then you drill down into it. And from there you can buy items from a vendor, you can sell items, and those are going to apply a buff to everybody within that unit. So it could be like, hey, this is a metal jacket. It's going to give everybody +3 strength, whatever it's going to be. But then
Full metal jacket?
Could be, yeah. It's one of those things. What was I saying? Shit.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Does
Yeah.
this game have? You mentioned the chapters. Does
Yep.
it have a very linear story, or are you able to take on free battles to just grind for experience if you want?
It's pretty linear, and so far the story's interesting. So I didn't really know too much about this, but Nephilim is a being. I think it's usually like a hybrid human angel, and in this story, it starts off. There's of course a big twist that happens like as you're getting tutorialized, and like the game really opens up after the first chapter. The first chapter is just to kind of set the stage for what's happening. But you find out that, not too dissimilar from like the way that Link finds out that he has a Triforce of Courage, you are one of these 5 beings, and you get bonded to another one that's like, hey, this is weird. We're rescuing you essentially. I'm one of these things, and we think that you are too. There's 3 other ones that we need to get up so we can go take out this big baddie. And I haven't seen like a direct, like I have this ability because I'm one of these things, but it is a situation where they're telling that story, and you have a childhood friend, and you are trying to locate that childhood friend because of things that happen in the game. And so far, it's been a pretty there's no voiceover here, by the way. This is all text based, but the story's been pretty engaging, and it's got some great talking head style compared to the pixel art as well.
Nice. So your character is a Jinchuriki then?
Yes, I think.
Johnny, are you familiar with the Jinchuriki yet? Has Jude gotten that far into Naruto?
No.
Okay.
Maybe he has. I don't know.
Naruto is a Jinchuriki. You can tell that to Jude, and he'll be like, "Whoa, cool."
Oh, okay.
And by the way,
what does it mean?
You can.
It means he's got like the big fox in him. That's what it means.
Oh, okay.
They don't have. It's kind of like Fire Emblem with Byleth. Like you can have a form that would be more female or a form that would be more male, and it doesn't change too much in the story. But you do have that option.
You are some sort of divine being.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Does it have permadeath?
No. So I was really worried about that. I actually started the game over the first time because when I was in battle, these 2 really cool people popped in that had some good attitude, and one was an archer, and my poor archers got wiped out. I'm like, fuck, I really want that character, but it happened again. And I was like, well, maybe it's just like designed to have this happen, and they will die on the battlefield, but they will be back ready to go for the next one. So.
Okay. And when you mentioned the items, like you mentioned the metal jacket, whether it's full or not, and are those things that you equip to squads, or are those things you equip to individual characters in those squads?
So, if I'm not mistaken, because it said something like assigned to Bobby, but when you go in, because you can name your character, when you go into it, it looked like I was applying per soldier, but I might be wrong that it's like, because one of the first things I unlocked on my tech tree, because by default you have one thing that you can like slot an item into. You can open up another one and then you can get up to 3. So I can't remember if, I think that might be per squad, and I think it applies to the squad, but I might be wrong there. It could be just, hey, Bobby has this in this squad and I was just misreading that. And it's probably it makes most sense that it would be per individual, because they get pretty granular with it. Like, this is going to add like strength versus intellect or something like that, and that might not apply unless you have a whole squad thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, are there like weapons that you can equip? Because that would make even less sense if
there are.
equip this sword to a squad.
Yeah, I think it is
full of archers.
It is per person. There are things that in the tech tree would apply to the entire squad. Like, hey, your squads that are of the light cavalry or the heavy cavalry are going to all have this boost.
Okay, so you can have like full buffs and stuff that apply to the group, but
depending on like what. So like if you have so many of a certain
manage.
type in one of your squads, it's going to take on like, hey, this is a heavy cavalry squad, and because of something that you can unlock within your tech tree, hey, heavy squads get plus 10% movement speed or whatever it may be, like, something like that. So there are things that you can unlock that would go towards what you build out the squad, but then the items are going to be more specific to the person within the squad, if that makes sense.
Sounds awesome.
It's really fucking cool.
With the way this game works, having squads made up of sometimes like a max of 6 people, 5 or 6 you said, does that get to a point where it just feels like too many characters? Because if these are all like named Fire Emblem characters, but you can put them all in different squads like that, or is this one of the ways that it's kind of like Advance Wars, where you kind of have like a head unit in this squad, but then the rest are kind of unnamed, just extra people?
Yeah, and one of the cool things there is, I haven't unlocked this, but there's a market. So at the end of each run, you can go and recruit new people, and some of them are going to be a little bit further advanced than others. Then you're going to have your trader that gives you your items, and you can sell stuff. There is a passive ability that you can get on the tech tree that non-leaders will acquire leadership skills. So let's say that you wanted to grow leaders within your own team. That way, by the time they hit the ground running, like maybe they've advanced into that samurai position that I mentioned earlier. And then you can just give them their own unit and start to recruit from the bar or wherever lesser skilled people. So you can start to do those things. But what I have found, the way it's pretty fast back and forth battling, and like everybody, a lot of the attacks are area of effect. So it's usually impacting like a wider range of people. And so I've seen clearing out units happen to me pretty quickly. Like if one part of that falls apart, like you want to be careful on how you're building it out. Like maybe I had a really strong leader and the people around him were kind of dog water, to quote Jude. It's not going to be a situation where they're going to make it. Like if you lose your leader by the next time, because each round, like you get 2 hits. The other piece I haven't talked about is there's a morale system in this. So if you have higher morale, other things are going to happen in that battle versus lower morale. So like you can unlock something that if you take out the leader of the group, it lowers the morale. And if you get, let's say there was somebody I was going up against that had a mage or a healer or whatever, and I killed everybody around it, well, or anybody really can surrender, and then they can join up and go with you if you need them. So there are things that you can do to increase it. The other thing is when you go into an attack, you're going to unlock things on your skill tree. There's 2 other options. So rather just engaging in a battle, which is like what you would expect from Fire Emblem, you can try and do a forced surrender. Now that's kind of a risk reward. So like if you're successful, that's great. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get all this stuff. But if you fail it, you're going to have like 20% lower evasion the next time you go into battle with them, and little things like that. The other one that I just unlocked that's been really helpful is you can go in, and when you start these battles with units on units, there's not really a way to say go for the archers or anything like that. But one of the things I have unlocked is target the leader first. So when I engage in battle, I can go in and try and take their leader out. And with that other thing that I have, which is going to lower the morale, I'm going to maybe gain something from that too. So there's all kinds of ways that you can approach this, from like building your squads out to unlocking things in your tech tree. It's just so fucking cool. Like I seriously have like fallen for it pretty quickly. Playing it on my Steam Deck, playing it on my PC, and playing it on handheld, just kicking back on the couch was fucking awesome. It was so good. It's really well done there. And I am just like, this game also is at an overwhelmingly positive on Steam right now. Like, people seem to really like what they're doing. It's awesome.
I think the most important question is on the BCE scale.
Oh,
I
mean,
know, you have your I don't know, something Chase hates, and Super Robot Wars.
Sure, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Of course. Chase famously hates Star Wars.
So from Star Wars to Super Robot Wars, where does it fall on that sliding scale?
This is a tough one for me, Johnny, because I'm getting into some sacred ground here with Chase, and I know that like Fire Emblem is like the holy grail here. So
it's pretty high up there.
And it's also one of those things where I've talked a lot about Kuromon, and I know that that's going up against Pokemon, which is very sacred ground as well.
Sure.
For me, I'm feeling just as impressed and surprised by this game. And like, there's been a lot of the things out there that have tried to be Fire Emblem. They failed. I think this does a pretty good job of doing some interesting things in the same way that Kuromon did against the Pokemon game, if that helps out.
It's borrowing from these obviously very direct influences while also standing on its own.
Yep.
And that's what I was going to say, is that we've had some other games that have tried to be Fire Emblems in the past, in the recent past, and some of them are very promising, and then they kind of fall flat on their face. I still haven't played Dark Deity yet, which I have on the Switch now. And I know that was one that had a lot of hype going in, that these guys really know their shit when it comes to Fire Emblem. And I've heard some kind of mixed things once it came out. I've played some other games. There's one called Rise Eterna that is just not a very good one of those. And we've definitely talked about all sorts of different Pokemon alikes that have had similar issues of it's not there. You know, yes, it's not enough to just like Pokemon and to want to make a game like that. You have to kind of know your shit, and some of these places just kind of miss that stuff. But it is like, these people seem like they actually do know their shit, and they've put together something that is, you know, not just a retread, but they're really trying something different with this form, and that sounds pretty cool.
One thing I'll mention as I'm wrapping up here is the items are also following suit of like rare, like the green, blue, orange, purple for like rarity items on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a screenshot here pulled up. So just to kind of go back to the question around like, how do items impact things? They have an item selected. It talks a little bit about like HP, your attack capacity, all that stuff. It says with this item, heavy cavalry costs 2 less capacity. So your capacity is how much you can have within your squad. And so cavalry, because they take up a square, like there's a grid when you're doing your planning, and they take up a very large portion of it. So they take up less. The other thing is that they're also
so you can fit more morsels in. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Good. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you'll get an increase of 5 leadership, and beneath it, it'll tell you like, hey, you've got a total capacity of divvying this shit up of like 93 across all your units. So little things like that, like, so it does make it sound like you're going to get some carryover to like your overall stats, but maybe that increase of like HP or whatever that'll go alongside it. So I think this is only on PC right now, and I don't know what plans there are for this game in the future, but I think this is just a very well done game that has surprised the hell out of me. I did when this game first launched, they had a big sale for their entire catalog on Steam, and this is from Dancing Dragon Games. I picked it all up so that like you can get everything that they make right now for $25. The game itself is $19.99. So I was like, well, shit, for that, like I'll pay the $5 and get the rest of it. Deadly Sin is another game that they've made. There's 2 of those, and this one looks like more traditional, kind of like an old school Final Fantasy game. So like just straight up turn-based JRPG. I don't know much about it outside of that, but got a bunch of their games to check out. Might do that down the line. I was going to talk about another game. I'm not going to, because this rightfully so, got a lot of time. I'll just say Point P is fucking awesome, and you should check that game out if you have a Netflix account and some sort of mobile device. But both of you should play Symphony of War because
I will.
it's really fucking good.
I can't wait for my Steam Deck to get here.
Yes. Johnny.
Yeah.
We're gonna pass it over to you.
All right. So we all played that new Ninja Turtles game together last week.
Yeah, we did.
And
I didn't, but I was there.
You were there. And this is the first one of these that I played since I was playing the old NES ones when I was a kid growing up, and it is exactly that, and it's so good, and I had so much fun playing with you guys, and I can't. I'm a little bit stupefied that they made it as good as they did, because a lot of times whenever people try and cash in on nostalgia, it's not always a quality product, but I feel like it was made with great love and appreciation for what came before, but also putting maybe their own spin on it, because it has pretty complex controls and stuff that you can do.
It's in depth for sure.
Yeah.
For a brawler, especially.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as cut and dry as what you had on those old arcade games. And I don't know, like I wanted to get your thoughts on it, Bobby. And like, do you have, like, did you play those old games when you're growing up, like at an arcade or on a console?
I mean, look, like I was, we've talked about this on a prior show, but like I was an advocate. I was the poster boy for the Book It Reading Club at Pizza Hut. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mine had a Mortal Kombat cabinet.
I think they all did at one point in time. I remember mine had like Golden Axe for a long time, and it had Mortal Kombat, but sometimes there would be other brawlers and stuff on there, and it was something that I never liked to play. I mean, I guess like I shouldn't say that. A lot of the Super Nintendo days at home, there was brawler-esque games for sure. There's kind of dime a dozen of those games that I dug, but mechanically and just the attention to detail that like I got from us playing this.
Yeah,
not Sonic Origins, but what was the other Sonic game?
Mania.
The way that was kind of a love letter, you know what I'm saying? Like
exactly, like
a similar thing here.
Yes, like the animations, the art, little Easter eggs they have hidden in there, and it's so fun, and like I feel like it's a known quantity, like really what you're getting with this game, but it's still
not very long either, right? Like I think that we were
pretty close. I think
we were close to finishing it.
And I had so much fun playing that game with you guys, and it has jump in, jump out multiplayer. So I've played it once by myself, and I had one person with me when I started the level, and by the time I got to the end of it, it was 6 of us just kicking ass, taking names. And so far, I think I tested out Donatello, April, and Splinter so far, and I think Splinter might be my favorite.
So I know that they're all like a breakdown of I think 6 points, like just dispersed differently.
Yeah. So Splinter's really strong, but he's a little bit slower. April is very fast, but she doesn't deal as much damage. And Donatello, I don't remember exactly what his stats are, but he
has machines.
I know that Casey Jones will have 7 points. So he's got the most points to go into it whenever you get him, and you get him from beating the game. I think that I was like, if you would have asked me like, hey, you want another Turtles game? I'd be like, nah, I'm okay. But after we saw that trailer, I'm like, that looks really promising. And then playing it, it feels really, really, really good. It looks great. Like the shit that you would expect from like falling down the sewer, all that stuff.
It's kind of the Mario Maker thing. Like this, it feels like you remember it feeling.
Yep.
But it feels better than what it used to. Like if you tried to go back and play Turtles in Time, or if you tried to go back and play TMNT, the arcade game,
you probably still have a good time, but
you'd still have a good time. But
it would
it's certainly
feel its age,
right. Whereas this feels
fresh,
good. It just feels right. It feels smooth. It's everything you want it to be.
I would put this down probably for one of the best surprises of 2022.
Oh,
like
I would say best style, best surprise, biggest overachiever.
I was looking forward to it, but to have it be as good as it is, is really, it was a great surprise, and it's just I don't think, I feel like I had a smile on my face the whole time we were playing that on Friday.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, and I want to get back to it and finish it, and I'm like Casey Jones. But
have you played that? I feel like that would be a cool game for you and your son. Have you all tried?
I haven't yet.
I think he'd have a lot of fun.
He's had zero exposure to the turtles. So
what turtle do you think he would be most?
Michelangelo.
Oh,
I know he is a Michelangelo.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he would pick a Michelangelo.
Donatello was always my favorite when I was a kid.
Of course. I mean, you're a nerd.
I had my favorite color was purple.
And you literally do machines. That is your job.
I don't do machines.
You are a machine. I am a machine.
Yeah, so I can't say enough good things about Shredder's Revenge. It's fantastic. It's on Game Pass on PC and Xbox. You should check it out if you have either of those things or that service.
It kind of devalues so many other brawlers that are out there right now. Like I don't there's kind of no reason to go and play River City Girls anymore. I really enjoyed the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up game when it first came out, and now it's back. It's great, isn't it? You can go back and play it. But Turtles is right there. I could just play Turtles, and this game is better. So it's
very, very
good.
It's great.
Seems like it's one of the better ones of the genre.
I love it.
Agreed.
And I've been playing, like some Monster Hunter, the usual stuff. I don't really need to get into. The only other new game that I checked out, we have a games channel at my job, and I posted asking people for their recommendations for anything that was on sale in the big Steam sale that's happening right now. And
we're here.
I mean, yeah.
I gave you a bunch of games that were on sale, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, somebody commented and said, "Hey, I made this puzzle game, and it's on sale right now."
Made it. They made it.
Yeah, they made it.
They're not just okay. That's very different from just finding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I took a look at it. It's called Room to Grow. It is a puzzle game. And
this is the cactus one we just
were
talking about. Yeah.
Yes. So the whole premise is you are controlling this cactus it's on a grid, and it's almost growing like the centipede does in Centipede, except you're not trying to eat an apple. You're trying to move this other potted cactus into a hole somewhere on the puzzle map. And
when you say centipede, do you mean snake?
Snake.
Yeah.
Okay. Centipede's a different thing.
Yes, it is. Snake is what I meant to say. Thank you, Chase. So you're moving it, and it does it starts with very easy stuff, and then it very quickly builds into more challenging things. And there are walls and things that will jut out into the grid, and you can use that to move the cactus, like the one that you're controlling, but also use it to push the other cactus into the hole. And it has the same exact energy as Baba as you, where you're like, I'm a fucking genius, or I'm the stupidest man alive.
Yeah, it took a minute of me watching the trailer for this to just go, oh no, thank you. I can't.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's got this really simplified art style to it. I really like the colors that it's playing with. I think it has a good game feel, the game juice, as people call it. Or it just the actions, the little UI elements that are on there, I think are all great. But the way it shows some of those later puzzles where you have now extended the cactus and moved it around to this weird ass giant configuration that is now like grappling these two small round cacti that you're now trying to shift into these specific spots, and I just went, oh, I'm way too dumb for this.
God.
It actually reminds me, the movement stuff reminds me more of that game Snakebird. You remember that guy? You remember that?
I don't know if I remember that one.
It's like a really colorful bird thing, but it's got that same kind of angled shape that you can make the bird, and you need to fit it into, like, that one also takes gravity into account, so you need to move the bird around in a way to keep it standing up, but also to push things around and to get into different places. Whereas this one is top down, and it's more of like trying to move things on a grid than it is trying to move things on a vertical plane.
I don't know if I know this game.
Hmm.
It looks.
Oh,
good.
it's a motherfucker. I'll tell you that. I get Snakebird is definitely in the Baba Is You, Patrick's Parabox, and Room to Grow oeuvre.
Okay.
So yeah, real deceptively simple puzzle game. But I don't know. I thought I'd give it a little.
How much is it?
It is
$10 on sale for $5 now at the time of recording.
Very cool. On Mac too, or just on PC?
Yep.
Cool. Nice. I mean, even though I'm too dumb, I'm smart enough to give him $5. I might do that.
Do it.
All right, boys. You ready to talk about July?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, too bad. We got to still talk about June. Let's talk about our previous month and what our picks were, and see how everybody shook out before we get into the games that are coming out this next month. I said Knights of the Old Republic 2, and I kind of still stand by that. Even though if you did buy the Switch version, you can't beat it right now. It's kind of got a game breaking bug to it that doesn't allow you to beat the game.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
It's a little unfortunate, which, I mean, it's not all that different from when it originally came out, because it originally didn't really have an ending. The ending was rushed, and now they said, well, you know what, fuck you, you don't even get to play the ending. It's something that they're working on, and I'm sure they'll fix very soon. They are aware of it, and also the DLC, that has the true ending stuff that modders built into the game. That stuff is not out yet, to my knowledge. So even though I'm glad I have it and I own it and I can't wait to jump in, I think you can probably wait to
Sure.
get the full experience.
Sure.
But I'm still glad that game is out there. And as much as obviously I hate Star Wars,
Hate it.
I think this is one of the best Star Wars things ever made. I also said Amori, which I'm still stoked to try at some point. I think it's a little pricey for what it is on the Switch.
Game Pass,
so
baby.
I think I might wait until it's either on sale or till I have something that has Game Pass on it to give that a shot. But I'm still pretty excited about Amori. And then let's see. I wrote some big long thing that sounds like it's justifying things. I want to say Sonic, but all I really care about are the new animated scenes that will definitely be on YouTube. So instead, maybe Metal Max. And you know what? Good thing I didn't buy Sonic. That game sounds like it's in some bad shape. I will be checking out those animated scenes. That's for sure. I bought Metal Max Xeno, and I haven't played it yet. I still think that thing looks real silly and fun, and I plan to play it at some point. So I'm pretty happy with my picks, even if I didn't actually physically play any of them. I mean, that's the Chase Kenny promise. So
yeah,
what more do you want?
On brand.
Bobby, you had Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Is that out yet?
It came out 34 minutes ago.
Yeah, 34 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So, Bobby, what do you think about it?
I played the demo actually of Sunbreak, and I really liked the additional changes they put in there when it came to some of the wire bug movements and some of the silk binding moves. I think silk bound moves, whatever they're called. Long story short, you're able to switch those on the fly, which is a huge win on the field, and you really get a bit more strategy on how you would tackle things. But I played a lot more Monster Hunter this month, getting ready for that expansion, and that game's still very good. And I think this expansion, from what I'm reading and seeing, very good also.
Awesome.
Yeah. And even this expansion it's not just here's your chunk of new content and there you go. It's that they still have a plan for, piecing out more monsters and more things over a season kind of plan, right?
That, and they're starting to do like variants of the monsters.
Yeah, there's like a variant Nargacuga that's gonna show up at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cool shit like that, which
Nice.
That makes, like, I would be really inclined if I can get a piece of a Nargacuga that had maybe a different color to it or different stat to it or one of those things, like that would be a-okay by me. So rotate that shit out. I can't wait. I'll probably fight something tonight when we get done recording.
There's already 3 different kinds of Nargacuga in Monster Hunter Stories.
It's one of the cooler parts of that game too, man. It's one of the cooler parts of that game.
Go get them. You had Soldiers.
I purchased this game. I really like a lot of what this game's doing. I find this game very challenging, and it is.
I did like this game very much.
I was really hot on that demo for it, and I was playing through trying to figure out like what class I want to go with, and you can't switch your classes. Like it's kind of like that's your run. It's hard. It's a hard Metroidvania, and I think that you'll get to a point where like because there's a lot of shit you can unlock that will make you much more powerful. I wanted to like continually go back and try more of it. I kept having this like paralysis on like, am I choosing the right class, and trying to figure that out. So I don't know, like I go like Johnny, like there was some points I'm like, I don't think I like this. To other points I'm like, this is really cool, I should see it through. And
it looks great.
Yeah, no, it's
great.
It has a great art style and stuff. I didn't like playing it.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
And then Bobby, you have Diablo / Outriders. Now those are 2 very different games.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything with Outriders.
Also kind of the same game.
Yeah, I played all of Outriders when that first came out. I don't have a desire to go.
Jumped over a lot of ledges.
A lot of ledges.
Great time.
But Diablo really blew up after putting that on paper.
So when you said Diablo, that's Diablo Immortals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And I ended up tonight, as I mentioned, I beat the main campaign there, and then I picked up Diablo 3 because of that game, and I beat the main campaign in Diablo 3 for the first time. And I've played, outside of Monster Hunter, probably the month of June was really much just like a lot of Diablo.
Well, there's a game we'll talk about here pretty soon that might scratch your itch. So
okay,
we'll see about that. And then Johnny, you had also had Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We discussed. I mentioned the Metal Max. You also had Metal Max. I don't think you bought that game, right?
No, I didn't even remember putting that on my list.
Yeah,
I thought I had something else in there. I thought I had Sonic.
I think you might have, and then you might have thought better.
You changed it after we watched the trailer because we watched the trailer a few times.
It was a pretty cool trailer. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if you should play.
Okay.
And then you had Mario Strikers. That was your big one. Mario Strikers Battle League, and I know we've talked about it on the show, and you seem to be pretty positive on that.
Yeah, it's good. I haven't played as much of it as I thought I would have, but what I have played, I have enjoyed. I do know that it has some fair criticisms as far as like being worth the price of admission. But for someone like me who's been clamoring for an update to the series since the last one came out almost 15 years ago, I'm still glad that I bought it.
Nice. Good. All right, well, let's go talk about some free stuff now, which is just as well because both Microsoft and Sony put out their free games today, or put out what's going to be free today, so that's useful. On PlayStation Plus, now, I guess I have to say this now, this is your PlayStation Plus Essential tier, not the other tiers. Essential tier is the one that gets your so many free games a month, and the other tiers have the other bullshit on it. Your game demos and your PS3 shit and all that. Anyway, for PS5, these games both also have PS4 versions. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time.
Johnny, you played that, right?
Yeah, what'd you think?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well then, no.
I got the
collection.
the remakes of
Yeah.
the first games, and it's good.
Yeah.
But I have not played. I'm gonna download this and play it, so I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's maybe a little too much like an old school Crash game for its own good.
I've heard that as well, like in terms of
yeah.
difficulty and stuff. So we'll see.
But again, it's free if you're a PlayStation Plus member, so there you go. And then also Arcadegeddon, which is coming to PS4 and PS5. That is actually coming out this month, and I'll tell you, I didn't even put it on our list of games that are coming out this month because I thought it looked fucking lame.
Whoa.
It's a PvPvE game, and it's a shootery kind of battle royale looking thing.
What is this, Osmosis Jones?
Yep. All the characters look like they come straight out of a weird punk version of Osmosis Jones.
What is this, like Osmosis Jones fucked Beast Wars back in the 90s and this is his offspring?
I think it looks kind of bad.
It looks bad.
Okay. So we're not going to talk about it when it comes to the games that are coming out this month, but it is free, so I wanted to mention it. And then on PS4 only, it will work on your PS5, but it's a PS4 version. The Dark Pictures Man of Medan. This is by Supermassive Games, those people from behind games like Until Dawn.
This one's just
or
okay.
Most recently, Quarry. The Dark Pictures games I don't think are nearly as beloved as something like Until Dawn or even the things that people are talking about, the Quarry that just recently came out.
Quarry's very cool. I've been watching.
I watched
that.
some people stream a little bit of Man of Medan, and I don't think it looks very good, which is weird to say because Supermassive Games, like the thing is that they look really good. Like it's the closest I've seen to human faces since like the Team Bondi LA Noire shit. And I just don't remember Man of Medan looking all that good in the character department. I don't know, but hey, it's free. It's out there, and I think it's supposed to do some cool things, especially with co-op. I think there's some things where people are playing different characters in the story at the same time that could be kind of interesting. So that's out there. For Xbox Games with Gold on your Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, you can get Beast of Marvel Island. That is available July 1st to July 31st. This game is kind of like what we wanted New Pokemon Snap to be from what they said. It's a 3D kind of puzzly game, but you can just take photos. It's not exactly open world to my knowledge from what I saw, but it's not on rails like Pokemon Snap is. And the idea is that you have creatures around you and you can kind of search around and hunt for that perfect shot. Seems kind of cool. Also, Relicta, which is available from July 16th to August 15th. That game is about magnetism and kind of a puzzle.
How does it work?
It's a good question. It's kind of like an action puzzle game where you're using magnets. I think it's first person most of the time, and you're kind of bouncing around different areas. Then for your Xbox 360 games, which are still compatible with your Xbox Series X and Xbox One, Thrillville Off the Rails, which is you build roller coasters and then you ride them in first person. So that's what that is. And then, Bobby, this one's for you. Torchlight, the first one. Some would say the good one or the only good one. The original Torchlight is available from July 16th to July 31st. It's pretty simple. It does come, I believe, from ex-Blizzard devs who started this new studio and made Torchlight. Yeah. It's one single dungeon that you go down to. It's procedurally generated, but you go down these floors of this dungeon and you can go back up to a singular town. It's actually kind of like the first SteamWorld Dig in that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of going down as far as you can and then going back up and selling your wares. I think it's a really good one of those kind of Diablo games. And it's small and focused and interesting. And I think they kind of got off the rails a little bit when it came to Torchlight 2 and Torchlight 3. But I had a great time with Torchlight 1. I don't know how the console version feels. I know trying to make Diablo-style games work on a controller is somewhat hit and miss. So your mileage may vary there. But I played the first Torchlight on a MacBook Pro a long time ago and had a great time with it. So, Bobby, I think that might be something you should try checking out.
Yeah, I have it in my Steam library. I should definitely play that.
Cool. And do you want to hit us up with some Game Pass stuff real quick?
I do. First up, you get Far Cry 5 on July 1st. I am going to slow down for just 1 second here and make a case for both of you. For Last Call BBS, I sent a link to this to Johnny via Steam because it hits early access the same day. This game, Chase, looks fucking wild. And for both of you, it has 8 full games built into it. And one of those is a game called Steed Force Hobby Studio, where you assemble robot models based on the anime smash hit Steed Force right on your computer. No sandpaper required.
I'm seeing this now.
Yeah, it looks fucking cool. But a bunch of mini games that you can play. Some of them are like, programming type things on it. This game looks really neat, and I am thrilled to see it on the list for Game Pass. We do not have it on our actual coverage this evening, but
we do not. But it does say July 5th that I'm seeing.
July 5th.
And so it's in early access now, and it's coming out July 5th, or it'll come out in early access July 5th?
Yep, it'll come out in early access on July 5th. Match Point Tennis Championships hits July 7th. As Dusk Falls is coming out July 19th, and Immortality is coming out July 26th. The one that I don't have on here that I did see get added today is Escape Room game. There's a new Escape Room game coming out that's going to be on here also. Games leaving: EA Sports FIFA 20, sorry Johnny. Jurassic World Evolution, sorry Jurassic World Evolution 2. Last Stop and MotoGP 20, sorry MotoGP 20. And those are your Game Pass games that'll be going out June 30th. They're all leaving June 30th.
All right, that's either tomorrow tomorrow if you're watching right now, today if you're on the East Coast and you're watching right now, or yesterday if you're listening to the archive, or even further if you're listening further away. All right, let's get into some games for July, and I gotta tell you, the beginning of this month fucking sucks.
Yeah,
there was stuff, and I just was like, these games all look like garbage. I don't want to even talk about any of these.
Just play Last Call BBB.
Yeah, basically. The end of the month seems to be getting a lot better than that, but the beginning, a little thin. So we're going to start here on July 8th. Just skip over the whole first week. No importance whatsoever. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a collection of remasters of Klonoa 1, Door to Phantomile. Phantomile? Phantomile. I'm going to say Phantomile. It sounds more fun to say. And Klonoa 2, Lunatea's Veil. Lunatea's Veil? Again, you got me. I don't know. I've never played a Klonoa game. Have either of you guys played a Klonoa game?
No.
Negative.
Cool. They look simple. They look a little Kirby-ish. I kind of like this character design. I've always thought Klonoa seemed kind of neat.
Not quite my tempo, I don't think.
Yeah, there was a brand new Klonoa game that came out recently, I thought, that looked kind of good. And I think there have been some GBA Klonoa games, or at least one that looks kind of cool. But I don't know if this is quite what I'm looking for. But if you like Klonoa, if you played Klonoa when it originally came out, I think on the PS1, then this might be for you.
Okay.
On the 14th, Power Wash Simulator is coming to PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. And in my notes here, let's see, I have my note is hell yeah. That's my note. That's my fucking note. Hell yeah, baby.
The one thing I'm excited about for this is, and I haven't had a chance.
One thing I'm excited about is the game.
So they added in multiplayer on this, and I think that would be fucking awesome. And they made it kind of look. They made the power washing suits kind of resemble the Among Us colors.
Oh, sure, of course.
But I would.
Can we spray each other?
Oh yeah, we can spray each other. We can soak each other.
That's
get real
but
wet.
This should be a game that we maybe consider playing for like a Monday or Friday night at some point in time if we can. I don't know if it has cross-play or anything like that, but definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, this is one I would love to play.
Yeah, man.
We had a great time the couple times that we've played this on streams. I think this seems. I just think that's a great idea for a game. Very well done.
Yep.
On the 19th, I believe, Bobby, did you? Yeah, you did mention this in the Game Pass games. As Dusk Falls, coming to PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Yep.
I think it has a pretty interesting art style. It's like a little bit the Walking Dead, just in terms of it's a kind of adventure game where people will remember that kind of stuff. But it seems more in a kind of like No Country for Old Men style world.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like this art. I like these weird stylized stills that
for sure
that they've built in. I think that's a cool idea.
I mean, being on Game Pass, I'm absolutely going to check it out. I like a good narrative story, and if it's kind of a choose your own adventure, choices matter type situation, like I could see what I would hope would be maybe a little bit more focused, shorter experience. Like, hey, get through this story on a weekend or something like that. I think that would be a neat experience for sure.
On the 19th, we're getting Endling. Extinction is Forever for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. This is a side-scrolling adventure game. You play as a mother fox, and you're kind of protecting your cubs. There was a game that came out a bunch of years ago called Shelter, and then there was a Shelter 2, I believe. And they kind of had a similar concept. I think those were more 3D than this is. And I always wanted to play them. I thought they had a really cool look and story to them. This game also has a really great look to it. I like the idea of playing as this kind of mother fox and at some points taking care of your cubs. I think there's even some parts where you could sacrifice a cub if you needed to save the other ones. And it seems like something that's going to be a bit of a tearjerker. But I think it looks pretty epic.
That does look neat. Really neat.
Moving on, same day, and unfortunately, Endling is going up against another game where you play as a furry little animal. And that game is called Stray. And Stray we've seen a couple times at different Sony events. Stray looks fucking good. Stray is coming out for PC, PS4, and PS5. This is that cyberpunk cat game, and I want to play Stray.
Me too.
I really, really want to play Stray.
There's a dedicated meow button.
I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really beautiful game, and even though I'm more of a dog person than a cat person myself, I am excited to check this out and just really kind of explore this cyberpunk world. I think that'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this could be a really cool way to explore space and think about spaces differently.
Yep.
I'm pretty jazzed for it.
Yep. Also, really quick on that, Chase. Like, I think it's worth just calling out because we do highlight Game Pass a lot. With the new tiers for PlayStation, they did say that this would be included with that if you were to up your membership.
Yeah, I think it is
one of the more expensive ones.
I think it might be the top one.
I don't
remember the tiers on PlayStation Plus. It's still stupid to me, but yes, if you have a higher tier, it's higher than Essential. I know that.
Yeah,
but if you have one of the high tiers, then I think you get this game for free.
Extra and premium.
Okay.
Sure. Maybe I heard extra. I think it was. I don't know. Fuck it. The next day, 7/20. Comes Severed Steel for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, I think we played this, right? We
I
played
have this game.
on
We
a
played a
stream?
demo. I bought this game. I have this game.
Okay. This is a port of a 2021, came out last September, PC game. It's this one's kind of weird scheduling wise. It's coming to PS4 and PS5 on 720. It's actually coming to Switch the next day on 721, and then on Xbox, it's coming out the day after that on 722. So weird staggered releases, but yeah, Bobby, tell me more about your experience.
It is somewhere between a neon white and a super hot when it comes to game feel, and you are doing some very quick, fast-paced running parkour through a level. You are missing an arm. You have an arm that gets amputated in the game and ends up getting an upgrade, like a cannon on it, that you're going to be using to, like, hey, I've got a few charges. I'm going to blow a hole in this wall and surprise people and do some cool shit. It's hyper stylistic. It moves very quick, and I think this is one of those games that you would look at from a distance and be like, hey, that's kind of like my friend Pedro. I don't want anything to do with that because I won't be that good. But there's a lot of fun to be had with the bullet time effect. So I would say, like, if you enjoyed Super Hot, if you enjoyed Neon White, very different from both of those, but also, like, I would say, like, that style of shooter, maybe this kind of lives in that bucket of, like, hey, these are some, like, art house shooters that I think are worth your time checking out. It's cool for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Neon White is putting you on a timer when you play that game. The whole point is to try to get things under a time limit. And this game, I'm sure it does grade you on some kind of time, but that doesn't seem to be the point of it. It's actually, I mean, I like the games that you mentioned, but I think it also has a little bit of Hotline Miami and maybe even some Anger Foot.
Totally.
We played that one recently.
Yeah,
Totally.
I played the demo for this, I think.
Oh, yeah?
And thought it was real cool, but
it is cool.
I didn't end up picking it up.
I have a feeling this will play way better on a PC with a mouse than it would on a controller.
Yes.
I don't know.
Even still, I want to give this a shot.
When it hits consoles, if it's also coming to Steam, but currently at the time of this recording, this is an Epic Game Store exclusive.
Okay. I do not know. I don't. I didn't see a PC release on the page when I was looking up dates for things.
Yep, it's a cool game.
The next day, 7/21, we're getting a game called Post Void. I'm going to say before Bobby clicks, I mean, he's already clicked and you're seeing it right now. There is a seizure warning on this one. Maybe just look away, or if you're listening to the audio, continue doing what you're doing. Post Void is, I'm going to say it looks kind of fucked. Yeah.
I don't like this.
So this game came out on Steam in 2020. It's kind of like if Severed Steel looked... I mean, I don't want to say worse, but...
It's got the same feel as, like, Cruelty Squad.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like somebody made Doom.
I'm just going to pause it on the screen.
This is one of those boomer shooters I've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Boomer shooters.
It's definitely got a Doom feel to it, but it is... way faster and way something else,
grosser.
Man. It is, and also like way on some fucking DMT, LSD.
Yeah, dude, this thing's
something.
fucked.
Your brain's on some kind of drug when you're going through this. This thing looks fucked, but in a way that kind of tickles something in me. I don't know. We'll see. Let's move on. Also, on the same day, 7/21, we are getting River City Saga 3 Kingdoms for PC, Switch, and PS4. This is one of those Kunio-kun brawlers, except this time it's set in the Three Kingdoms era. Which, I hear there's a game called Turtles that kind of just does this.
That does go... They could do the
better.
Turtles 3 and do both of these things almost.
Sure. Now the difference here is that these are a little bit more RPG than a traditional brawler. You're gaining experience, you're buying equipment, you're doing more things than you would in the Turtles game, I imagine. But you guys know I like my Dynasty Warriors here, and I talk about Three Kingdoms all the time. And Bobby, something you don't know that Johnny does. I finally am putting my money where my mouth is, and I am 3 chapters in to Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I'm actually reading the fucking book.
Nice.
It's okay so far. It's cool. It's cool to see things and go, oh, I know that. That was. I remember when that guy froze the river in Dynasty Warriors 3. This is kind of like that. It's been fun. I don't see a ton of stuff in this trailer that is like you're not seeing the characters. I mean, they're in here somewhere. I know I thought I saw Cao Cao at some point, but it seems less about these legendary figures than something like Dynasty Warriors would be, or something like Romance of the Three Kingdoms is. It's more just kind of like a, hey, we're in the era thing, which is cool, but that's not why I come to Dynasty Warriors. I come for those kind of larger-than-life characters. So we'll see. Sure. But I just like things that say Three Kingdoms. That's a time period I find very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on, 7/22, we're getting Live Alive on the Nintendo Switch. This is that 1994 JRPG that never came over here originally. It came out on the SNES originally. But it's getting an official translation. It's getting that HD 2D remaster look to it. It's a little bit like Triangle Strategy. No, not Triangle Strategy.
Octopath?
What's the one I'm thinking of? Octopath Traveler, thank you. A little bit like Octopath, where you're picking characters, but these different characters are in different time periods, so you're not eventually getting the full party. I think these are individual stories that you're going through.
I played a little bit of the demo.
Yeah.
And I picked the future because there's 3 chapters that do carry over from the demo. I found like I didn't get to any combat at all in mine, and I found it to be really slow, like really, really, really slow to get that going. And it looked great, and the voiceover work is fine in it. I want to see it through. Like I'd like to at least get some combat and see what that's all about. But in that demo, I walked away from like feeling maybe I chose the wrong start for this.
And maybe you did, because the thing I've heard is that the different stories actually are very different. And I imagine they also feel very different. So maybe you picked one that is just very story heavy instead of getting right to the kind of combat.
There is a
I
robot.
hear very good things about this RPG.
That you get to name, and I named my robot Brobot. And so that was pretty good. But yeah, I it looks good, and I'm really curious about it. I like the idea quite a bit. And again, the demo, you get 3 levels that do carry over for the main game if you choose to buy it. So I'm at least going to play through that demo and see if it ends up gripping me a little bit more, because I think there's some promise here from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I didn't end up grabbing the demo because I don't think it matters who you go through in the stories, like what order you go through the stories. But I didn't know if those 3 stories were the ones I wanted to go through first. So I am gonna wait till the full game comes out, because I imagine there's gonna be a story that I'll be attracted to, and I don't want to.
So you are gonna pick this up, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, to spoil something, this is definitely gonna be one of my top picks for the month. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's move on to 7/26. And Immortality is the game. It's coming to PC and Xbox Series X. This is a new game from Sam Barlow. That's the guy who made the Her Story and the Telling Lies. And it's kind of another one of those. But when I say another one of those, I mean an interesting kind of trippy idea that takes full motion video and does something with it. This one, it's a single actress, I believe, and you're going through her filmography, and you're trying to kind of put a story together based on the different roles she's played in her life, in her filmography. I think that's a cool idea.
This one is on Game Pass, by the way. We talked about it earlier, but this will be hitting Game Pass as well.
Got
so I have not played those other ones. I've seen I've listened especially to the short game guys talk about a few of these because they seem to fit their mold really nicely there.
Yeah, and I'm sure you listened to the Gamers on the Go episode of Her Story.
I did not.
You're an avid listener. I mean, I wouldn't. We spoiled the shit out of it. You should just play Her Story.
But I've heard very similar things that like these games are good, and I'm excited to get to check one of these out on Game Pass.
Definitely. I mean, I would wholeheartedly suggest playing Her Story. I have not played Telling Lies. I would like to, and then I'm pretty excited for this one too. But Her Story, I can tell you, is a really cool game. Nice. On 7/28, we are getting Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 for Nintendo Switch. Shout out to our good friend Jiggy-san. I know he is one of the bigger fans of Gunvolt. These are like this is the real successor to Mega Man. It's certainly not Mighty Number 9. Like these are the games that feel like they've taken Mega Man and also like the Mega Man Zero games and have done something with them and carried on that spirit. I have not played one, but I hear people like them. And since Capcom ain't making any new Mega Man games, they'll put out old Mega Man games all day long. But they don't want to make new ones. So I'm glad somebody's out there and making these style of games because they're just not getting made anymore.
Nice.
Good on them. Also on 7/28, Bear and Breakfast comes out for PC and Switch. Bobby, I know we played a little bit of this one, I believe, on a Steam demo.
What's the note?
It was also shown again. I believe it says "Hell yes" in all caps. I didn't write that, but I endorse that.
Yes.
And I think most recently it was shown again on the Wholesome Direct.
Yep.
Bobby, you're our resident bear who loves breakfast. Why don't you tell us more about this?
Well, Chase, it's a bear, it's breakfast, and it's you guessed it, crafting and management sim game where you get to open up your own bed and breakfast by, chopping down wood and getting resources and crafting and building it. This is 100% my shit, like all over. I can't wait. I'm actually going to try and get Sarah to play this because I think she's been struggling to find something to scratch that Animal Crossing itch. And I think this is that perfect balance of cute, wholesome, and, resource managey kind of like that is. So I can't wait. I'm really excited for this. I think it looks really good.
Cool. All right, guys, 2 more to go. Let's they both come out on 7/29. Let's start with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Gonna switch it up. Sorry, Bobby. Okay, yeah, there you go. Sorry about that. We saved the best for last, right? Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming out to Nintendo Switch. There was a whole... Johnny, you watched the Direct on this, at least a little bit, right? You know more than I do.
A little bit.
Tell me about Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
They made a Xenoblade.
Did they?
I think so. I don't.
Okay.
It has the big machines and anime ladies.
Light up swords. It does
People,
have some anime ladies.
Based
the
on
anime
what
ladies,
I've seen,
I don't believe are your swords anymore.
Doesn't look that way.
This thing's been selling out like crazy. Like at least one of their versions of it. Like I think people are really excited.
Very excited for it.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first Xenoblade Chronicles going over this well. I guess it was enjoyed enough. I did not like it. Felt too much like an MMO to me.
I liked what I played of it. I put like 15, 20 hours into it.
You famously finished the game, right? Yeah.
I didn't, but I played enough of that game to say I enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles.
I know.
This looks like a spectacle.
Yeah,
it does. This is one of Nintendo's premier RPG series these days. But I don't think it was really until Xenoblade 2 that it really took off. We got Xenoblade Chronicles, and then we got Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, and nobody played that because it was on the Wii U. And that game has never gotten ported, even though people really like that game. it's a very cult classic because you have to be in a cult to buy a Wii U. And then 2 came out, and it might have something to do with the big titty anime ladies, but people love 2.
Yeah.
2,
Well,
2
they even had
is fucking nuts.
armor and shit for 2 in Breath of the Wild. You could put
Right.
Xenoblade 2 armor on Link in
you
Breath
can
of the
get
Wild.
Rex's armor, I believe, is the main character. 2 is so big and so popular that even I, a person who did not like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, said, fine, fuck it, I'll buy that game. And then never played it, but I bought it, which is, again, the important part. And I mean, people are excited for this one. I guess I just don't see why. I haven't seen the thing that compels me to go like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Not in the way that 2 did. Like, even though I wasn't a fan of the series, I at least saw what was compelling about 2 that made me go, okay, yeah, I need to pick this up. I mean, it looks fine.
This will only be on the Switch.
Even kind of good.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a
too bad.
Nintendo published game. It is going to be
too
Switch
bad.
only. Yes, Bobby will never play it, but you've never played the other one, so I didn't expect you to. Anyway, it does seem like it's pre-selling quite well. I think there are some physical
broke their
versions
fucking
that are already
website.
sold out.
Yeah.
Broke some websites. It got its own fucking Nintendo Direct just to say, here's some stuff about the game. I know that my artists that I follow on Twitter are going nuts about it and already making fan art of the characters.
I bet people are pretty horny right now.
They are, but again, like, if you are horny, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the game for you. I don't see the horny characters.
Well, I'll be skipping that one for sure and playing 3 then.
Obviously. All right, let's stop fucking around. Let's talk about the actual best game that's going to come out in July, and that is, of course, on 7/29, Digimon Survive, coming to PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a visual novel that's also an XCOM, and it stars Digimon, and it's been delayed a lot, and it might end up being terrible, but I think it looks really good. I think it looks really promising. I'm extremely excited about it. I love the way I think this trailer that we're seeing now is the first time they've actually shown how the Digimon can evolve, and they show the trees of how you can go from one monster to the other. And I think that stuff's really interesting. I believe this game is supposed to have permadeath, so I'm also interested to see how that works. I think this is really cool. I love XCOM style games, and I also enjoy the Digimon, as you guys might be aware of. And I think what they're showing off here is something that really scratches a lot of itches.
Well,
how do my non-Digimon knowing friends feel about this?
I'm interested in this game.
Yeah, like looking at some of the combat stuff here, like I like that style of game quite a bit as well, and I'm a fan of creature collecting games, and I think even though I don't know anything about Digimon, if I just went into this looking for, can I get a game that maybe gives me some Persona stuff with some XCOM stuff with some creature collection stuff, like I'm sure, I say this wholeheartedly, I could probably find something to enjoy with this, even though I don't know a lot about it.
I bet you could, and honestly, I don't think you need to know much about Digimon to understand this game. It's actually one of the weird things about this franchise is that the people who make it are very, very odd in the way that they talk about this series. Like you do not hear the Pokemon Company or Game Freak talking about Pokemon the way that the developers of Digimon talk about Digimon.
There is some upgrade there too.
Yeah, if you pre-order or you get like the day one version or some early version, you get Guillaumon, who is was made in Tamers, which is the third season of Digimon, which is the one I'm currently watching. But they have this kind of philosophy. There's like Digimon game fans and there's Digimon anime fans, and they're not always the same people, and they have different preferences. And and there's the way that the developers talk about it is like this game I believe is supposed to be more on the Digimon game fans side, which is less about having to watch the anime and knowing what Agumon is or Guillemon is, even though you're looking at it right now. Like they're in it, but they're not like a main focus in the way that if you had like a Digimon adventure game, it's going to be about Tai and Matt and Agumon and Gabumon in ways that you would probably need to have watched an anime to understand what the fuck's going on. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about it. The last time a game like this came out, the closest thing that it reminds me of is Pokemon Conquest. Have you guys play that on the DS?
No.
So that was it's not quite Pokemon Dynasty Warriors. It's close though. It combined Pokemon with I think it's the Edo period of Japan. This is the time of Nobunaga. So you had these historical Japanese figures who each had their own Pokemon, and the game played out like a turn-based strategy, grid-based strategy game, where the Pokemon had moves that had different areas of effect on the battlefield like that, and affected different tile selection stuff. It's a pretty cool ass game. I really like Pokemon Conquest, and it gives me hope that this style of game, combining the monster collecting with an XCOM style game, is something that could work. Anyway, we'll see. Let's get into our picks of the month. I could start. Hey, you just heard me say I think Digimon Survive is going to be one that I'm going to like if it turns out well, which it very much could not, but it could. I also have Live Alive and Stray. I think those are an easy 3 for me for this month. Bobby, what do you have?
Bear and Breakfast, Stray, and then I put Live Alive or Xenoblade. I'm
but
sure
you
that's
Switch, so you can't play
I hate the Switch, so I'm probably going to do
so you're going to emulate the original SNES version of Live Alive that's been English translated, and you're going to play that instead.
Out of spite.
I mean, that's the only one of those games that you can play on your Steam Deck.
Good. I'll do it.
Then Johnny, what do you have?
Stray, Digimon Survive, and then I put fuck it, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
No way.
Fuck it, dude. Let's go Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
All right, Bobby, what do you think? Over, under, let's give him 15 hours. Do you think he's going to play over or under 15 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
Or 0. Could be 0.
I think it'll be 0. I think Johnny's going to be spending most of July playing Monster Hunter.
Johnny's a
maybe
Zeroblade
Symphony
Chronicles
of War.
fan.
I would not be upset about either one of those from him.
And that's a good point. We all might just play Symphony of War and not play any of these other games.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good.
All right, Bobby, take us home. Let's.
I will. All right. We have talked about a lot of games coming out in July, but we also play games right here on our very own Twitch channel. This past Monday, Chase and I went and visited that Monster Train, one of our favorite games to play on stream, one of our favorite games to play off stream. And I will tell you right now, we had one of the nastiest fucking things happen in that game.
It was so nasty.
You can
Bobby,
go watch that
I'm
clip.
sorry, I got to interrupt you. I tried to play more Monster Train tonight right after work because it was just still in my brain.
Yeah.
And I tried to remake our deck, and I got different cards. It definitely played differently. It definitely was not nearly as nasty. Still pretty fucking nasty though.
That's good though. That's good.
That game's good.
Go check out that VOD over on our YouTube channel or right here on Twitch. We put a quick look up on Tuesday for one of the Next Fest games called Dome Keeper. It's really cool. Tower defense meets Dig Dug in a way. It's very neat. Tonight we told you all about those July games. Tomorrow, if you are watching this live right now, but if you're listening to this, go to YouTube. Johnny and I recorded a quick look for Sniper Elite 5, a game that has taken us by storm this year. I liked it so much that I
grabbed you by the balls
and then blew him right off. Sniper Elite 4 was deeply discounted on, or still is, for the Steam Summer Games Fest. I got it for $5, so I went and picked that up because I wanted to go back and check out more of that game. And then Friday, if you're listening to this, come back to Twitch Friday night at 10:30 p.m. Central, where Johnny and I and our friend Jason are going to be checking out that new Sunbreak DLC expansion for Monster Hunter Rise right here on Twitch. So all kinds of fun shit going on. We're also going to put out an announcement on Friday on our Twitter. Johnny and I have mapped out a weekly rotation for every 4 weeks. We're going to be cycling through a couple games, and we're really excited about this. So we're going to put some stuff out on Twitter, let you know about the 4 games that we're going to be playing on a monthly basis for the foreseeable future. We're going to throw in a few one-off streams with friends like Mario Kart or Turtles or anything like that. But for the most part, we're going to try and keep a rotation going for some games that we've played and some games that we've tried to play, but more to come on that for our casual Fridays.
And I think Bobby and I have also more or less mapped out what we're going to do for Mondays as well. We're not going to tell you because we reserve the right to change that at any time, but we have a plan.
Yeah, we got a good plan in place. So we're going to add a little structure to a few of those things, just on planning and trying to give the right here to the games. But Chase, we did that so you would have time to do some of your other things that you got going on. And one of those things you got going on is Gamers on the Go. What can you tell us about it?
I mean, Gamers on the Go, it's I haven't done something for over a month at this point. I really need to get back to it. But that's my handheld video game podcast that bring on a guest and we talk about some kind of handheld game or series or piece of hardware and just talk about it, talk about the thing, talk about where it came from, talk about what it influenced after it came out. The last show that we did was on the Playdate. That was when it was still pretty brand new, and we were all getting used to it and seeing some of those original games. A lot of new games have come out for that Playdate since, and
I know.
We're looking to do another episode of that. But again, it's scheduling stuff. It's around a holiday time, kind of busy. One idiot in our group is trying to buy a house. Where the fuck would do something like that?
Big dummy.
Yeah, time is a little difficult. What I have found time to do, though, is record some quick stuff for my YouTube channel, Chasey K Plays, which I'm playing through SteamWorld Heist right now, which is a fantastic game. Episode 4 went up somewhat recently. You can check that out, and I'll be recording episode 5 and getting that done pretty soon, probably sometime next week.
Awesome. Chase, thanks again for putting together this wonderful list of games for us to check out in July. We will be back live right here on Twitch on Friday night. And if you are listening to this, thanks. Like, subscribe. Tell us how we're doing. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.